Major Spoilers podcast covers news, reviews, and of course, spoilers, and goes into details about the topics discussed. So if you haven't read, listened, or watched the items we talk about, you might want to come back later.
I'm Matthew.
I'm Rodrigo.
And I'm Steven, and you're listening to the Major Spoilers podcast, the podcast for pop culture and comic fans.
In this issue, fair ladles and jelly spoons, lend me your ears, for Etrigan, legendary demon, is here in our TPB Corner where the comics are old, but reporting on brand new ones. Also be told, we know you love comics. You know we do too. Each Wednesday shows our excitement anew. Though the demon rhymed not till the Swamp Thing affair, 'tis a fun bit to put MSPs on the air. Vermicelli.
Welcome to issue 1145 of the Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and checking us out this week. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited about this book that I have been reading. A prose book, not a comic book, but a prose book. It is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. It is, you know, if you love The Martian, if you like the movie, and you read the book and you loved it, if you liked Artemis, I loved Artemis. Project Hail Mary has been out for a couple of years now. And it's the upcoming, the Ryan Gosling movie that's coming out. I started reading this book on Sunday, and I'm almost done with it. Tomorrow I will be finished with the book. I'm blowing through it that quick. It is a lot of fun. It is very much like, if you know Andy Weir's writing style, if you read The Martian, you know there's a lot of science in it. I dig on the science. I like anticipating what the discovery is going to be, and if I was right on my science. It is, you know, a work of fiction, but it is based a lot on fact. This is a fun book, and you still have, what's today? You've got like 15 days left in the month to go get a copy of Project Hail Mary, read it, and then join us on the Major Spoilers Book Club over on our Patreon page, patreon.com/Major Spoilers, where Dr. Brad Will and I release the book club for free. You don't even have to be a patron at patreon.com/Major Spoilers. You can just go there and get all of the episodes of the book club for free. You can also jump into our Discord server and talk about the October book. You can go in there and read about Project Hail Mary. Other people are already done with it. Steve Grand said that this is he said it was as fun as reading The Martian. And that's a good quote. So I'm super excited about this book. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm going to be sad when I'm done with it, because that means I need to find a book that is as good, that gets me excited about getting up in the morning and listening to the book while I'm out doing my walk. So, yeah, get on the book club. That's what it's called. Patreon.com/Major Spoilers. All right. We have some comic books to review this week, or maybe from last week. Nope, we don't have any comic books from last week. We do have, however, this week, Hector Plasm, Hunt the Bigfoot #1 from Dark Horse, or from Image Comics. I'm sorry. Hector Plasm, the last time we saw some Hector Plasm was maybe in 2006, 2008, when it was a backup story in Invincible. And then those backup stories got collected into, I want to say, 2 48-page issues. And now the creator, Benito Cereno, is back with another adventure of this guy who is able to see witches and spirits and ghosts. And sometimes he has to fight them. Sometimes he just communicates with them. Sometimes he just makes them appear to deal with them. This time he is in the Pacific Northwest, and he's in a town dealing with the witch of the haunted witch house. And all of a sudden, murders start happening, and everyone tells him, oh, it's definitely Bigfoot, because we're in Bigfoot country. And, of course, Hector Plasm doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe in Bigfoot, although he does believe in witches and ghosts. And so now he is tasked with taking care of Bigfoot. And I thought that when I read this, number one, being October and a scary month, I was like, oh, okay, I will check this book out. It seems like a lot of fun. It hits my cryptozoic, niche. It's a fine book. I will say that the language is a little bit too casual. I want to say that's probably not the best word, but it's like when you're talking to someone or when you're writing, I think that there's certain ways that you write, But then if you write too casual, yes, that's how maybe the characters talk, but it, for whatever reason, doesn't feel natural when you become too casual in your dialogue. And I think that's the biggest problem that I had with this book. The art is kind of out there. Derek Hunter is the main artist with Spencer Holt doing the coloring. It's a little stretchy. I was going to say it kind of reminds me a little bit of crazy Dave Baker when he does Plastic Man, where it's kind of crazy all over the place kind of stuff. And some people might really, really like that. But I kind of found it distracting in this kind of a book that should have been more horror and less whackity schmackity kind of comedy stuff. It is a funny book. It is supposed to be lighthearted, but it was not something that I was ready for. So I'm going to just go right up the middle on this. 2.5 slices of meatloaf for Hector Plasm, Hunt the Bigfoot. #1. It's out this week. Again, from Image Comics. If you were a fan of Hector Plasm from before, yeah, go pick it up. I think you're going to really enjoy this tale. I think I'm going to read issue #2 because I just want to kind of see what happens and how he deals with Bigfoot when he comes face to face with it, or whatever the creature is, because it's pretty clear by the end of the book, it's not a classic Bigfoot by any means. So go check it out. It's interesting. It wasn't really my cup of tea. I was hoping for something different, but it's an enjoyable read, and that's why I'm giving it that middle of the road 2.5 slices of meatloaf.
Nice.
Also out this week from Marvel Comics, we've got a big crossover between Marvel and Disney, Fantastic Four and the Gargoyles. This is Greg Weisman, the creator of the Gargoyles, writing this issue, Matthew.
It is. Yep. Fantastic Four X Gargoyles #1 is written by Weisman with art, and I really do enjoy the art, by Enid Balam. This is basically, I always think of it as Earth crossover. There's a story in 1976 where Superman and Spider-Man are like, oh yeah, we've just always been on the other side of town. And this does that. But it does it really well. And it starts in the 11th century, where we find that, I believe it's Demona, one of the gargoyles voiced by Weisman Artist. It's like, oh, in the 11th century, I had these terrible fights with this guy. I think his name was Diablo. And of course, it's the Fantastic Four villain, Diablo. In the modern day, we literally cut to the modern day and we find the Fantastic Four on the roof of the Baxter Building, discovering that suddenly their modern Art Deco building has a whole bunch of gargoyles on it. And I love the fact that it seems like something's going to happen. It's like, oh, is there going to be a fight? And then Reed starts introducing himself and Goliath starts introducing himself, and they're both, kind of fighting the situation down, and they're trying to get rid of all of the aggression and the things like, what, we're not going to have a misunderstanding leading to a hugely pointless battle. It's a beautiful moment. Yeah, it really is. But it turns out that there are a number of villains in play. The Gray Gargoyle, if you may remember, is an Avengers villain who turns people to stone, even if those people can stretch or sometimes turn to stone all by themselves. And of course, David Xanatos has come to town to work with Tony Stark and see, oh, Tony, we should work together on a little something and something. And all of a sudden, armored gargoyles everywhere. But I think the sweetest, the most wonderful part of the whole story for me is when all of the gargoyles have come together, including the robot guy and the robot girl, and his name is Cold Stone, which always makes me want ice cream. But they're all in play, and all of a sudden, former Defender, the Gargoyle, shows up, and for the first time in his life, he feels like he fits in. He's just like, oh my God, I'm so happy. Everybody has horns and wings, and oh man, what are we going to do? Oh, I don't care. I'm just happy here with my friends. Now, if you know Esteban Diablo, you do know one important thing about Esteban Diablo. Esteban Diablo controls the Dragon Man. And if you've ever seen Dragon Man and you've ever seen a gargoyle, I'm not saying that they look exactly alike. I'm just saying you'll probably look at the other and feel like it feels weirdly familiar. A lot of this issue is fan service in the best way, in the classic way. The moment of, oh man, could you wait to see David Xanatos trying to face off with Tony Stark? Could you wait to see Brooklyn just wandering around and then the Gargoyle going, "Hey, how's it going? I'm also the Gargoyle." If any of that appeals to you, this is definitely a book for you. Now, I will warn you, it is a $6 book for, I think, 40 pages. I feel like it's worth it as long as you don't think too hard about the whens and the wheres of it, because it does end with the wonderful bit where the Fantastic Four and the Manhattan Clan realize that they have friends and similar families just a few skyscrapers away. So we're in a universe where this all takes place together. 3.5 slices of meatloaf. Beautiful art throughout. Enid Balam can capture realistic Fantastic Four members, plus a thing, but also keeps the Gargoyles on model, which is tough because the humans in that universe are not human shaped. They're definitely cartoon shaped. Sadly, I did not get to see Goliath's girlfriend in this, which makes me a little sad, but knowing the creator wrote this makes it a little easier for me. Fantastic Four / Gargoyles, #1 and or one shot. 3.5 slices of meatloaf. It's a good book.
Rodrigo, what do you have for us this week? It looks like not something out this week, something next week. The future.
The future. So I read Warwolf #1 from Mad Cave Studios, Steve Orlando, Marco Perugini. And this is, again, has the Rodrigo seal of do not read the solicitation. Like the solicitation goes like so far above and beyond what this issue covers and spoils. I'm guessing like it feels like the first couple of arcs, maybe not just the first arc. But the issue itself, I went in there without reading anything about it. It is the story of this guy named Tom Bruin, who is kind of bad at it. He tries to be in the army. It doesn't work out. He tries to be a cop. It doesn't work out. Tries a few other things. And then finally ends up as a security guard. Now, this is also kind of a period thing. It's like, I think the issue finally stops hopping around in the 80s. So this is all, happening in like the 70s and 80s. And so he's an okay security guard in that he's not asleep his whole shift. And then some aliens show up. And then he fights the aliens. And he may be really good at fighting aliens. It's a trope that I definitely enjoy, like the guy who doesn't fit in until something weird and supernatural happens, and then kind of finds their stride in this weird new world. I love Shaun of the Dead. It's probably the first version of this trope that I really the first time I really noticed this trope. That said, there's something about it that is not quite jiving with me. The issue spends a lot of time showing you. I think that Thomas Bruin is like a very flawed person, and doesn't spend a lot of time like telling you why you should like this flawed person, right? It's a delicate balance, and it's hard to do in a single issue, right? If you're going to dedicate your issue 1 to a lot of exposition, then you really risk just doing a lot of exposition about like this is this guy's life, and here's all of the mishaps that he's had, but not so much why you should then turn around and be like, okay, well, hope it works for him this time, kind of thing. It's nice to have a bi main character. That's kind of revealed throughout. But in general, I wasn't feeling it. Like, it's like when we see the aliens and we can understand what the aliens are saying, but he can't. So some of the decisions that he makes, it really feels like he should,
Mm-hmm.
like right? It's like he doesn't know what the aliens are
Yeah.
doing. We do, and he makes decisions based on like sort of like that meta information. I don't know. I just wasn't into it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Art is great. I'm gonna give it 2.5 slices of meatloaf. Definitely something that you could check out if it sounds like it's your bag. For me, I just kind of wasn't feeling it, but there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you, Rodrigo. Thank you, Matthew. Dear listeners, and maybe our guests here on the panel this week, on the show this week. A lot of crossovers happening. The Deadpool Batman crossover sold gangbusters, sold huge. We've got Batman Deadpool coming out next month. And then DC has announced that it is re-releasing the Superman Spider-Man crossovers from the 70s, the treasury-sized editions. And then it has a number of other crossover events coming out throughout 2026 with both Marvel and announced at the New York Comic-Con, Swamp Thing and Something is Killing the Children, titled Swamp Thing is Killing the Children. And
best.
I know it is. It really is. It really is a good title. And then we saw here Fantastic Four and Gargoyles. Godzilla is crossing over with every publisher. I don't think I have seen a publisher that has not had a Godzilla title in this anniversary year. And then Dynamite has also announced coming up, and I think it's next month. Maybe it's 2026, but I think it's next month. Darkwing Duck and the Gargoyles are crossing over. What do you think of these publishers doing crossovers? Is this a necessary thing in order to pump up sales, to get people excited about comic books? Or is this just a cheap gimmick that is going to wear out its welcome and do harm to the comics industry?
I mean, can it be both? Honestly, I feel that we talk about the industry being cyclical, and it is, and the everybody's crossing over cycle really has popped up repeatedly. When it initially started, it actually started within one company. I mean, the Justice Society of America, in the strictest sense, is an intercompany crossover at the time. But I'm actually sort of fine with it because it happens, at least historically speaking, at times when the industry is feeling, I don't want to say confident, but the industry is feeling the kumbaya spirit. We're all in it together. Marvel and DC and Dark Horse and Image, we're all just one big happy four-color family, ... And it's not necessarily times when people are actually, more stable or more together, but it's at times when maybe they kind of feel like they want to be. And I'm also sort of fine with that. It's, again, it's fan service, but it's a kind of fan service that I can sort of get behind just because it can lead to interesting, bizarre, impossible things like, JLA Avengers.
Yeah, Rodrigo, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, it is interesting because I think industries kind of shift in and out of this idea, right? Is like for the longest time, crossplay in video games was like not a thing. Absolutely not. Sony, if you were playing a PlayStation, you were playing with PlayStation people. If you were playing an Xbox, with Xbox people. And then at some point, really just trying to get in on that Fortnite money, all of those things were removed, and now crossplay is like a very normal thing. Like if you buy a game for your PC, you're at least going to be playing with Xbox people, and almost certainly going to be playing with everybody. Like crossplay is just a very common thing. So right now, really for I don't know, like a decade, we've been seeing these like crossovers, like it's Star Trek Ghostbusters, like X-Men, whoever else, like Ninja Turtles and everybody else. So I think this has just become kind of an expected thing.
Yeah.
I don't think people really like if you see a crossover that particularly jives with you get excited, but I don't think people even bat an eye at this sort of thing. Whereas it used to be like, guys, like Batman or like guys, Hulk and the Pit are going to be in the same comic. That's a big deal because the Pit is something that exists apparently.
Yeah. No, I really like this idea, especially being so long since Marvel and DC have agreed to do something together where they get to take some of their biggest characters and properties. I really love the Captain America Wonder Woman story that was in the backup of the Deadpool Batman stuff. I like all of that stuff that they're doing because it happens so rarely. And so I think it does get people excited because they get to see what kind of stories will Marvel tell with Batman or that DC will tell with Deadpool. And I think that that's exciting, and I think some good things can come of it. Likewise, I think when you have Godzilla destroys the Marvel universe, or Godzilla destroys the DC universe, or the 47th time that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have teamed up with Batman, I think that's also exciting because there are people that think that way, and especially if you're a fan of the IDW, the defunct IDW game system, that you can actually have Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles playing in the same game together. I think that brings awareness to other properties. And I think at the end of the day, that phrase, a rising tide lifts all boats, the idea that you can have these crossovers actually helping all publishers and not just one publisher, I think that's a very exciting thing. So I do get excited when I see these kinds of things announced, because I also know that they are incredibly hard to do, especially the Marvel DC stuff, because both publishers love to own their own stuff. And it'll be interesting to see. And I know that the Deadpool Batman is back to print already, but it'll be interesting to see how these publishers collect these stories going forward, and what kind of exclusivity happens in this. I'm pretty sure that Marvel has no way of using Batman and Deadpool again without approval from DC. That this is just this finite moment in history that may happen again in other events, which I'm excited about. But yeah, I think overall it is a good thing, providing that everybody sees benefit in it. And right now, I think everybody sees benefit in it. So I'm really excited. Who do you guys want to see do a crossover with at Marvel and DC? What are the two characters that you want to see team up in a story? Rodrigo?
Let's go. Assuming that I was allowed to like dial them. I have no idea where these teams are right now.
Yeah, no, just anybody.
Or
you
who's
can
in
have
them.
anybody.
Yeah.
You want Jubilee and Robin back together again? Go for it.
Yeah, I would do Doom Patrol Runaways.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, okay. Matthew, what about you?
I feel like I want to see like Legion of Superheroes, X-Men, just because I want somebody to try and draw 750,000 characters in every panel, but also because, you can then throw in the Imperial Guard and have the Legionnaires go, what the what? Yeah, you do 6 issues of that. And then at the end, there's nobody but Cosmic Boy and Cyclops, and people are like, oh man, they're so boring. But together they like save the universe and everything's great.
Yeah, I think Cosmic Boy could probably bend the laser beams of Scott Summers.
That'd be cool.
That's how magnetism works. But okay.
Yeah. I don't know what crossover I would like to see. I mean, when we talked about the Superman Spider-Man crossover earlier this year, or was into last year, I forget when it was. I really enjoyed that story a lot. In how it pulled off what it set to accomplish, and I really liked the Deadpool Batman story last month. It was great, and if people haven't read that, go track it down. It is a fun story. I don't know who I would want to see crossover. Maybe it would be somebody like The Thing, or Mr. Fantastic and Plastic Man would be interesting. But I think that
like all stretchy guys, like
all stretchy guys would be interesting. But
Mr. Fantastic, Plastic Man, Ralph.
Okay, here you go. It is Doctor Strange and what's the little demon boy? Clarion.
Oh,
Clarion the Witch
Clarion?
Boy. Clarion the Witch Boy and Doctor Strange. That's the crossover I want to see.
That'd be
Readers,
interesting.
listeners, what crossover do you want to see? Head over to our Discord server. You can join the Major Spoilers Discord server for free, and you can share your thoughts there. Or if you want some exclusive stuff, if you want to be a superhero to us, then you can become a patron. Yeah, join our Patreon for just $5 a month, and you'll get bonus shows, early access, and other cool perks that make you feel like you're part of the Major Spoilers team. You want to head over to patreon.com/Major Spoilers and become a hero of the podcast today. This week on the pre-show, we talked about Drew Struzan. We talked about grifters, and we talked about, the comic industry is back, baby. The comic industry is back. It's all over there right now. Patreon.com/Major Spoilers. So being part of the spooky season, I always like when Batman, speaking of crossovers, I do like when Batman teams up with different people, especially in the pages of Brave and the Bold and other places. And Batman and Etrigan teaming up has always been one of these weird combinations that I somehow like, because Batman can wear many masks, right? He can be your happy chum superhero. He can be the daring adventurer, master detective, or he can delve into that spooky side. And spooky side lends well to demons. And so we have a collection of 5 issues of when Etrigan and Batman have crossed over from the 1970s, Jim Aparo art, I love it, all the way to a Batman 3-parter with Joe Kelly art.
Kelly Jones.
Oh, yeah, Kelly Jones. And then who's the other one? Is it Brian Azzarello? No. Who is the...
Don Brayfogle.
Yeah, Brayfogle art on the other story. And listen, nothing against Jones. His art is fine. There's something about the heavy contrast and the coloring that goes on in any of his stuff, and the fact that everybody's always making these really weird expressions on their faces, even when they're just having a normal conversation. I just don't care for it. That's me. Now, other people love it, and that's cool. It's just not for me. So, unfortunately, in the 3-part Batman series, the Joker comes off scarier than Etrigan does in that story. And that story is the Joker wants to raise a demon from hell so that he can bring hell to Earth. Or really to take down Batman, but he summons Etrigan instead, and Etrigan's like, no, I'm sorry, I'm still in debt to Batman, so I can't kill him, but tell me something else that you want to do. And he's like, well, let's bring hell on Earth. And Etrigan's like, well, yeah, I can do that. And then of course everybody fights, and the Joker is using a different version of his venom juice to get it out there to control people and have them do whatever he wants, as opposed to giving them the scary grin. We get a little police Commissioner Gordon in this one. We have Harvey Bullock, because this is the 90s, early 2000s, when Harvey Bullock is all over the place. I think this is before Renee Montoya became a big deal, because there's a different detective in here. I don't think she's become, I don't think she's doing her own thing in this series. I don't know if she's been introduced into the comic book pages yet, but regardless.
97, yeah.
What you guys think of this story? This is my least favorite of the 3.
I can't ever get past just Kelly Jones does a very stylized art style, and it's as I say, it's
great
fine,
for covers.
Everything is elongated and weird and difficult, and it's good at setting an overall tone of body horror. If you look at every Harvey Bullock panel, is just horrifying and maybe a little fat phobic, but that may be my button getting pushed. I get it. But it comes to a point, about halfway through the 2nd issue, there's a beautiful shot in the Batcave shooting down on the giant card, right? And we see Alfred and Batman standing in the cave, And Alfred is a misshapen potato man. And I get it, but I feel like you should, if you have a character who is literally called the demon, who is a misshapen yellow creature with claws and finned ears and horns, that to me should be your weirdo. And to have that character look more normal than the Joker's human
or Pennyworth, yeah.
It's tough for me. So I didn't necessarily feel like the story was, no disrespect to Doug Munch, one of the greats, but I don't feel like the story was anything super, super special. It really felt like we were elevating the Joker at the expense of a literal demon, which again, Joker's a big player, blah, 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 fish cakes. It's the 90s. Well, Wolverine once beat Lobo in a fair fight. Or so they say. I did not necessarily care for that 3-issue.
Rodrigo, what did you think of this 3-issue meeting of the minds?
Yeah, I was not super into it either. I like this Batman. I like this like super long, pointy-eared, very much looks like a monster a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, weirdly like Etrigan, because it's like this very blocky, like Kirby design, seems to maintain its proportions a lot better than everybody else. So yeah, wasn't crazy about the art, wasn't crazy about the story either. Like, it really seems like it's like it wasn't played for laughs, but it feels like it should have been. Like the Joker's like, haha, I have summoned Satan. It's like, well, actually, instead of Satan, you get this guy. It's like, okay, I killed the Batman. It's like, well, I can't kill Batman. It's like, okay, well, let's like kick some gargoyles off of some buildings and blow up a subway. Like, it just like seems like the Joker didn't have like that good an idea or a plan about what he wanted to do, or because his plan didn't go off right from the beginning. There's no like major arc to what the Joker is trying to do. Also, I feel that when you get into like summoning demons and like pacts and things like that, like there needs to be a much more like solid, like, reading of the letter of the law or whatever, right? Something there. But it really seems that like Etrigan gets summoned and the Joker is like, okay, do this for me. And then he shakes on it. And then he like changes his mind about it.
Yeah.
Like Etrigan is like, I'm going to do this instead. And it's like, but you can't. And I'm not saying like, historically Etrigan is the demon. I'm just saying like, that's not what a demon story is like, right? It's like the like stories with demons and devils and stuff like that is either like that bad genie story where you don't say things quite right, or they trick you into doing something bad, or the hero tricks them into doing something, and because they follow the letter of the law, they can't get out of it.
Right.
So Etrigan just kind of deciding halfway through that actually he wants to beat up the Joker, and then kind of, I think, probably changes his mind again like one other time. It just made it like, I'm like, why does this even need to be Etrigan if, and I'm sorry, the rhymes aren't even that good.
I love a rhyming demon. That is my favorite kind of demon, is a rhyming demon. And you're right, they could be a lot better. Unfortunately, the other thing that is missing, and I think one of the key components anytime that you have an Etrigan story, is Jason Blood needs to be a part of that. Now, I don't know if somehow they changed the relationship between Jason Blood and Etrigan by whatever year that this comic came out. But it there's no Jason Blood, and it's like you're missing. Now he's just a demon, and having Jason Blood cursed with immortality and housing this demon, and either being able to let it out or not let it out, is not here. And so it just feels like Etrigan always wants to be away from Jason Blood, and the Joker has done that just by this summoning spell because magic. I don't know. This was an interesting read to go back to a comic that I do remember reading back a long time ago when these came out. But in hindsight, I look at this now and I'm just like, this is not that interesting. I would pass on Batman 544 to 546 personally. What were you going to say, Rodrigo?
I was going to ask if this was all in continuity, because even the Joker being an alchemist or whatever, I'm like, that's something.
Yeah.
But that
No,
doesn't
this is
seem
all,
like what the Joker is interested in most of the time.
All this stuff is like pure continuity stuff back in this day of DC. If it happens in Batman or Detective Comics, man, that is the truth. So yeah, you did get some weird stuff going on.
But that's also, 6 Universal reboots ago. At this point in time, Jason and the Demon, I believe, were separated. Because this 97 is post Cosmic Oddity. That was 87. And the Brayfogle story comes after Cosmic Odyssey as well. But Etrigan's own book, I want to say, kicks off in like 91, perhaps 1990, something like that, and runs like 50 issues. So there was a lot going on in his own book. And then that book got canceled, but he was all of a sudden, a big major player.
50 issues is nothing to sneeze at. That's, several years worth of comics right there. So are we all saying this one's a pass?
Yeah, I'd pass on it.
Okay.
I would agree. Yeah. This particular arc is.
Okay. So I said, when I set this up, it was the times that Batman and Etrigan teamed up, which brings us to Detective Comics 603 from 89, which is kind of like part 3 of a 3-part story, except that in the first 2 parts, it's Batman and Jason Blood is, no, I will not let Etrigan the Demon out. And so we miss the first 2 parts where this Tulpa monster is running around killing people. And by the time we hit part 3, Jason Blood is finally like, okay, I'll let the demon out, go help Batman. And it becomes really kind of cool. And of course, as we mentioned, Norm Brayfogle doing the pencils here with Steve Mitchell doing the inks. I mean, sometimes I don't like Norm Brayfogle's stuff. I'm not a big fan of his Batmobile, but man, if I don't love his Batman with the eyes, I think that's like the coolest stuff.
His monsters too, like good monsters.
Yeah. The Tulpa is a really cool monster. Yeah.
Yeah. Brayfogle has that thing where he has a really good grasp of human anatomy and then just completely ignores it. And that's what makes, Batman stand out. That's what makes that creepy 6-armed Tulpa monster all over the crazies. But there is a transformation scene on like page 9 that, oh my God, I have not seen one that dramatic since the Matt Wagner series back in like 86, I guess. But just so visually distinct.
Yeah, no, it's really great. And I love Brayfogle's Etrigan. It's angled in the right places and soft in other places and just comes off as demonic. We're not looking at Jack Kirby's take on, he created the demon. We're not looking at the Jack Kirby designs, but man, this looks gorgeous here. I really love the art. Now, because we're coming into part 3, we don't get the lead up, but really, do we need the lead up in this story? I don't think so.
Not if you already know who Etrigan and Jason Blood are.
Oh, that is true. Yes.
At this point in comics, 89 was kind of in a weird sort of a lacuna where we were transitioning from that Silver Age style of each issue stands alone, but it's all part of this big pot boiling thing with the background stuff to everything is in 6-issue arcs. So if you actually go and read these 3-issue arcs, they aren't necessarily a traditional, this was written as a 3-issue story. It's, we had this plot and we wanted to fill X number of issues with it. And don't get me wrong, I love Alan Grant. But I agree, you do not need to have seen anything other than this.
It opened. I mean, had I not read Tulpa Part 3, When Demons Clash, you could have just called this When Demons Clash, and you open with this Tulpa running around, because they do explain it within like the first 2 pages, kind of what's going on. We get introduced to Sing, which people who don't know the whole Etrigan thing and all of his Doc Savage compatriots are going to be a little lost, but it still plays up very well. We don't know about the Hinch men that are running around and what their part in all of this is, but you can pick it up pretty quick by the time that you're into page 4 or 5. You know exactly what's going on, so that when the demon appears and these two have their just clobberfest, the page where Etrigan opens up with his hellfire all over the tulpa is just great. And then to see Batman and the demon fight, and then when Batman's like, "Oh no, I will box his ears and see if that does something," and Etrigan just suddenly is like, "Huh, this is funny," and then suddenly he wants to laugh and joke with Batman. I just like, this is great. This is great stuff. This is a kind of a crazy demon that I like. Rodrigo, thoughts?
In human perspective.
Yeah.
Agreed. I think that the thing that makes Etrigan unpredictable is that he is like all id, right? He does what he wants. When he wants to fight, he fights. When something annoys him, he tries to kill it. When he thinks something's funny, he just completely gives himself to that, right? He's like, all aggression is gone. It's hilarious that you tried to do that. You and I are a lot alike, actually. Our ears are weird and our eyes kind of do this squinty thing. We should hang out some other time. Bye.
Yeah. So I guess I would say, unlike the previous story that we were just talking about, in this one, Alan Grant makes the demon both part creeper and part Joker in his characterization of this. If you can take the manic intensity of the creeper and mix it with just the insanity of the Joker, I think that's where the demon comes from, and it just works really well here, in my opinion.
That is actually remarkably astute. That is really dead on for this whole issue.
Yeah, and again, I have a feeling if we would. Trying to think I know that the Creeper and Batman met up in the 80s. I don't know if Alan Grant would have written any Creeper Batman stories, but I would imagine it would be in this similar vein. As far as the demon goes. Matthew, what do you think of this story?
I love it. I think that anytime you get Brayfogle goes nuts, because I feel like I can see this script and it's just like, okay, here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do. Here's the point where the thing goes. And here's it. Just Brayfogle goes nuts for like 3 pages. That's what I love, because it feels like a real perfect synthesis of storytelling. And you don't look at this and think, oh, well, the writer did X and the penciler did Y. This feels like, oh, there's an actual demon trying to kill poor Bruce Wayne. I wonder what's going to happen. I hope that the demon laughs and gives him a big kiss and then leaps away across the city. That, to me, is funny, but more importantly, it's beautiful and it's a really entertaining read. So I would say rush right out into buying frenzy.
That would be Detective Comics 603 and presumably 601 and 602 as well. Now, I have this original copy of the 1973 Brave and the Bold, number 109. And I want to divert away from Batman and Etrigan and just say, economy not so great in the 1970s. And there was certainly a lot of talk about, hey, you guys need to go out and get some further education, but don't go to college, go to a technical school. And man, this issue is crammed with the Cleveland Institute of Electronics or the Sally Struthers, you can learn HVAC repair in your home. Or there's one, I think, in here, there's an ad for becoming a locksmith. Guidance. Yeah, there's like a locksmith school the Locksmithing Institute, Department 129G-103, the Technical Home Study School in Little Falls, New Jersey. Go now. And so I just find that fascinating, because it feels like we hear some of that rhetoric today that we need more HVAC and plumbers and electricians and all of that stuff. Maybe this is the time for the comic book publishers to start putting those ads back in but this time going to legitimate trade schools and getting them to buy ads in the comic books. Thoughts?
I
No?
want to say one thing to you.
Yes.
I will pay $6 for your 30-page comic book, or I will read ads, but under no circumstances am I going to do both.
Well, and so that is, one of the reasons why comic books tried to stay as cheap as they were for so long was because you could go buy this 20-cent comic in 1973 and you would have, let me just count here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, that's an in-house, so I won't count that one. 9, 10. Oh, there must be a better way to earn a living. 10, 11, 12 pages of comics, including the back cover. There's this really great, what is this one from? The International Correspondence School. This would be like the Sally Struthers stuff, where it's like this man that's in this black and white 1973 photo of this couple, and this man is in deep depressive thought, and his wife's just in the background staring at him longingly, and he goes, "It happens to all of us. Sooner or later, no matter what kind of job we have, one day it suddenly strikes home, like it or not, we're going to have to work for a living the rest of our lives." And then it just goes on. It's this is probably probably not quite 12 column inches, but it feels like 12 column inches of just come to the Institute, the International Correspondence School of Scranton, Pennsylvania. Maybe it's time to bring these back. I mean, certainly there's a lot of technical schools, technical colleges, community colleges that specialize in these kinds of things. Maybe it's time for and they all have some kind of distance education component, legit distance education, not like these fly-by-night schools like the, what's this other one in here that I can find it? Oh, the day Bill told off his boss, "Get in here, Bill, I want to talk to you." And then he's like, "You punched in 7 minutes late. I'm docking you an hour's pay. It better not happen again or else. Oh yeah, I got news for you, Mr. Bemis. I got a new job offer with a real future at twice the money. Ha! Anybody would be crazy to pay you that much. That's what you think. I've been learning electronics in my spare time at home from CIE, the Cleveland Institute of Electronics, and now I can take my pick of good jobs. You got to be kidding me. You in electronics? Yes. Now I have and it's all underlined, career. CIE made it easy. So goodbye to you and your crummy job." Oh man, this stuff is just like a classic ads. Beautiful. I love reading classic ads. Beautiful. It's just great stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah. That one's a Fumetti ad too. It's designed as a comic strip, but all photos. Just the classic advertisements. And I'm not just talking about slot cars and muscle men and, buy a sea monkey thing.
Valuable prizes with grit.
Yeah, no, nothing like that. So sorry for the divergence there, but I just had to comment on there's got to be five Technical Institute ads in this thing. But there's a lot of pages in here of ads, Matthew. What did I say? 8 or 9 pages of ads plus an in-house. So 10. And that's bringing the cost down. So maybe we can make comics holding the line at $1.99, but we're going to add in 6 pages of ads.
Remember, 73 is during one of the big paper crises. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Hey man, how great is this story? So this one, Brave and the Bold, Batman and the Demon, is almost like the Detective 603 issue because it starts out with this crazy man crawling up out of the sludge of the New York River and going on a killing spree, killing captains. And Batman is there flying around. I don't know. Rodrigo, is Batman a fascist? Is he too close with the man?
All cops are Batman.
I mean, yes, Batman is propaganda. Now it's okay to enjoy Batman, and it's okay to acknowledge that. And also, Batman is a millionaire, so he's got a lot of. Definitely, you have to work pretty hard to make Batman like a down good man of the people.
And yet here he does it. He and the demon Etrigan trace this crazy guy from 100 years ago across the city and onto the docks to keep him from killing innocent people. and they do it somehow by hanging him from with a silver noose or something. I like the horror supernatural aspect of it. I think Batman becomes really interesting when you throw in these weird tales type stuff.
Yeah, and this is dead smack in the middle of an extended Bob Haney run on Brave and the Bold that honestly has to exist in its own universe. It's I believe a lot of them take place on something designated Earth 1A because they can't be canon to the Earth 1, but they're also better for me. Now, I've seen this book 1,000 times, and I swear to you, I thought that was Clayface.
At first, you
I
think
was
it is,
like,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, that's Matt Hagen, the Clayface. Because, I have an encyclopedic knowledge of all super characters named Matthew.
Mm.
But I'm actually glad that it's not, because I feel like when Batman teams up with, somebody wacky, and my God, does Aparo draw a creepy Jason Blood. I mean,
I know, it's all great. He does an excellent Columbo as well.
Yeah.
Just one more thing, sir. One more thing.
One more thing, Batman.
When you get into the point where they're having to team up and they're having to use their specific skills, like you do, Batman does his thing, Etrigan does his thing, Jason does his thing. Technically, it's a 3-person team up.
Sure.
Or 5 if you want to count in Singh and the other guy.
Yeah.
I mean, sidekicks. If Robin was in here, I don't think we'd count as a full person. But yeah, I love this era of Brave and the Bold, and this is really, really good. And this is the point. This is what Batman looks like in my head. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it'll veer into Neil Adams territory, but Batman always looks like a Jim Aparo drawing in my head. So I love this issue to death. Love to pieces.
So I like the weird tales supernatural aspect of it. I think that's a lot of fun. But in 1973, this is a lot of story and a lot of explaining that needs to be done. And I feel like it might be, you're trying to pack too much into too few pages. I don't know if you feel the same way, Rodrigo, or not, but that was my one concern, was that this reads a little funky because of the way that they have to break it into the 4 parts or whatever it is in this tale.
Yeah, it can get really wordy too. It just like the pacing's a little weird, but this was the last one I read. And so compared to all the other ones, I wasn't thrown off too much by that, because definitely that first one, the 3 issues that we read, the pacing's all over the place.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, okay, back to like a more classic style of comic. Like, they're gonna tell you everything, they're gonna describe everything that's going on in the panel. And they're going to move at the pace that they can move things. Sometimes something will take up a whole page to do, and sometimes it will take one panel and they'll just explain to you all the action that just happened in that single panel. So I don't know. It's kind of going back to
this thing happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I will agree with you, Matthew, that this is a very good Batman in your head kind of image. Same way with Breyfogle. This is not I don't think that this is the model that I think it was George Perez Batman that they used for most of the marketing through the early 2000s, from the 70s through the early 2000s.
That's probably Jose Luis Garcia Lopez.
Oh yeah, that's who it is. Yeah, because for my kids, we decorated their rooms with superheroes. So we had these big wall art stickers of Superman for my oldest son, Batman for my youngest son. And just looking at that and going, wow, this art has been marketed for over 30, 40 years, and it's still being used. And I was really amazed that in the 2010s, I was still hanging up art from, the 70s and 80s up on the wall. So it's an iconic looking Batman in this book for sure. I love the stuff that's happening when Merlin takes away Jason's demon powers and then realizes, oh no, I have killed him because he didn't show up to our date on time. I must give him back his demon powers. and then we see that transformation of blood back into the demon is really like melty, creepy. It's really cool. I like it all a lot. I don't know. I could look at this art all day long, and I don't know about reading these stories, but certainly looking at these pictures and getting the most out of the pictures. The story is fine. Don't get me wrong. I do think it's a little clunky in its pacing. This is probably my favorite of the three stories, just because of art and supernatural tale.
Being me, I read these in release order. So theoretically, chronologically. So I started here, and then I went to Breyfogle, and then I went to the Munch Kelly Jones 3-parter. And it really did feel for me like, you know how we talk about some characters are elastic, like Spider-Man is elastic. You can have him be, oh, he unmasked this week. Oh, wait, now he's a teacher. Oh, wait, now he's 16 again. He sold his wife to the devil. This feels like a character like gaining not necessarily barnacles, but lore. I think the kids call it today. So, in 19, whatever this is, what is that first issue? Is this 73?
73, yeah.
73. So the demon is a brand new character here. He's been around for like a year. Yeah.
A couple of years.
And you look at this, it's like, oh, well, here's this new guy. He's getting some time in with Batman. He looks really good. And then we get to the Breyfogle issue, and he sort of takes center stage. And it's like, oh, this is that same character 10 years down the line, but they've made some expansions and some changes. And then by that third time out, it feels like maybe the weight of the continuity is kind of falling heavily on him, or maybe just on the writers. So I feel like it was a really interesting, just sort of a journey to the center of the demon for me.
Yeah.
And, I liked it less and less every issue.
Yeah. That's the order that I read these in as well, was chronological. And I just got to the third one. I think all I did was look at the pictures by the third issue, just because I was like, ugh. And even then I was barely looking at the pictures. And again, it's nothing against Jones. Jones is a very, very talented artist. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Munch or Jones don't know how to do their craft. They do their craft. It's just not to my personal liking, and that is okay. Somebody out there probably loves this art, and that's okay too. Of these three, Rodrigo, which one was your favorite?
My favorite was the one with the tulpa.
Okay. Is that just because your personal connection to your own personal tulpa?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I think it has the best shaped Etrigan and the best rhyming, because I don't think he even rhymes with this first.
No, in the early days, he like Matthew said, he doesn't rhyme until that one person takes over, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matthew, what about you? Which one of these was your favorite?
Well, when it comes to comics, I'm old. Haney Aparo, but I gotta say that detective issue is very good, very strong. Honestly, it's kind of a photo finish between those two for me. Both of them very good in very different ways, but also I have this love of when Bob Haney is like, okay, I've got to make this work. What am I going to do? Oh, I know, something crazy. Let's just go woohoo and see what happens. And I enjoy that about classic Brave and the Bold. I don't have a complete run of B&B like I do some books, but I have a large chunk of Brave and the Bold, and I think I have almost all of the Haney Aparo series, and it's absolutely worth the money if you're looking for something to spend some comic books on.
Yeah. I think for me, my favorite one is the Detective 603, the second story. There's something about Breyfogle's work on both Batman's cape and the Demon's cape, and just their two similar looks to one another. I like the humor that Alan Grant brings in to the piece. I like that it is serious enough that we do get to see fights and we do get to see action. And quite frankly, Norm Breyfogle, anytime he has Batman fighting people, is always awesome to see. And so I like this issue just because it's punchy, fighty, demons, fire, and all that stuff. Plus the boxing the demon's ears at the end as a last attempt to save your life actually worked out in the end for Batman and Etrigan. So that one is my favorite. Dear listener, which Batman Etrigan team up is your favorite? Of course, we didn't talk about Etrigan in Batman the Animated Series or Justice League or anything like that. Those are all different things. We're looking specifically at the comic books, and maybe I missed one or two. I don't know. I don't think so. I looked for all the times that Etrigan and Batman teamed up, and I thought I found them all. But maybe you have a different one. Let us know over on the Discord server. You can join the Major Spoilers Discord server for free. I know, in this economy, you can get it for free. And you can let us know what is your favorite tale or your favorite comic book. Maybe you read some of the things that we read this week and you want to share your thoughts. You can do it on the Major Spoilers Discord server. And that's where we're going to wrap it up this week. Next week on the show, it is the Intersect because Carl demanded it. Why? Because we know that you love comics and we do too. And we will talk with you soon.
If I had the X-ray vision of a Superman, I could save a few bucks and stand around and read through the covers of the comics on the stand. But although every other page would be backwards, I suppose I could still read the evens and the odds. Well, I don't know. Guess I haven't thought this all the way through. Plus, as soon as the comic book store guy knew, he kicked my butt out on the corner. What a major spoiler. What a major spoiler. Think about a better way. If I was hulking green or gray, I could just bust through that brick wall, take their comic books away. But then the little meat would deal with all the tanks and bombs and guns. Have you ever tried to read a series with all that going on? Guess I need to rethink this plan. How would I back and board my comics with such huge hands? Guess I already told ya. What a major spoiler. What a major spoiler. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What a major spoiler. What a major spoiler. If I'm Stark Raven, rich like a man of iron, I might not be surprised to find that I might actually have the heart cold to follow an entire storyline. But would I really even need to read up on all those escapades? I mean, who needs such distractions when your sister's such a babe? But the downside is such a beast. Being shot up in a fun bee in the Middle East with a gang sign throwing soldier. What a major spoiler. What a major spoiler. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What a major spoiler. Whoa, 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 whoa. What a major spoiler.
This podcast is copyright 2025 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.